Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific, this one being the Waratahs taking on the Crusaders. Now, the last time that these two sides played off, Crusaders lost, and that was a part of their losing streak. It was a game that a lot of people anticipated them winning. It's part of the Super Round, which is kind of why I got Melbourne in the background, but also I couldn't find my New South Wales stadium. But this game is going to be a great one, and I do hope it is as close as the last game we saw for Super Rugby Pacific. That was between the Reds and the Moana Pacifica side. But looking through at the Waratahs starting lineup, it is Hayden Thompson-Stringer in the front row alongside Julian Heaven, as well as Harry Johnson-Holmes. Jed Holloway and Ned Hannigan will be the locking duo with Lockie Swinton, Charlie Gamble and Lenny Gleeson in the loose forward trio. Jake Gordon, Tane Edmund as the 9-10, Lolakai Fakiti and Azai Parisi, so a lot of power coming from the midfield for the Tars. Dylan Peach, Tristan Riley, and also Max Jorgensen. So that means that there is no Mark Ngawanganitawasi for this contest. But looking through at the Crusaders, they also don't have Mark Ngawanganitawasi, fun fact, but they do have a strong front row. George Bauer, George Bell, and not George, at number 3, it is Fletcher Null who will be slotting in as the tie here. Brock Quinton Strange and Jamie Hanna as the locking duo. Then Ethan Blackadder at number 6, Tom Christie 7, and Cullen Grace, who has been one of the better number 8s in the competition. He is going to be slotting in there as the number 8. Noah Hotham and Riley Hohepa as the 9-10 combo with Dallas McLeod and Levi Moore. So also packing a bit of a punch in their midfield combo here. The Crusaders, Johnny McNichol, one of the main reasons that they were able to get themselves the victory over the Chiefs. That was their first of the season. And then Sever Reese and Che Fiaki, the other two in the back three. Looking through at the jet, we have got hi Hamish from Brandon. We've also got morning Hamish from Stuart. And Panzer Blaze was surprised with the result between Moana Pacific and the Reds. I was in that same boat. I thought that the Reds should have been able to win that game comfortably. But I don't know what's happened to them. They started so well, and now they just find themselves slowly going further and further down the table. Moana Pacifica have actually boosted themselves up to 7th now. So the Drua are in 8th, and then the Highlanders have dropped outside of the top 8. Just with how it is currently sitting, there is also a chance that if the Crusaders get themselves a bonus point win here, they will move up to that 9th place, but they will not be able to take the top 8 on for this round of the competition. They are one game behind though, so that is one bonus that they've got, similar to the Highlanders. Similar to where the Reds found themselves, they got themselves the losing bonus point, and then also the Hurricanes, the other side that are one game down, which is why at the moment the Blues are ahead of them. But there's a big game happening tomorrow. The Hurricanes taking on the Chiefs. That is going to be one to certainly keep an eye out for. We will be closely watching the table. We have got there the win in the last match. Might get Crusaders going, says William Presley. Well, it was something that everyone anticipated happening at some point. Was a win for the Crusaders, and that was going to be the turning point of their season. The question is that still going to be the case? Are they going to be able to continue the momentum here up against one of the sides that were able to actually beat them? Saying that, though, they beat the Chiefs, who did beat them earlier on in the season. We got Lord Rapture in the chat. He said, hi, Hamish, welcome in. And not a surprise, Moana is the daughter of Chief Tui, says Fluffy. And also we have got there, I hope Crusaders win. Can't believe the Reds lost. Didn't expect that, says Rafflesia, I should say. I hope the Reds, I had the Reds for a big win, but nope. Also 2 red cards for the Reds won't help them. Nah, see, that's the thing. Like, it's so easy in some regards to predict who should win and what all the odds say will happen. But injuries and red cards, I think, have proved more over the last 6 months or so how crucial that can be in the overall decision. Like, if sides stay 15 on 15 with no injuries, could be a completely different game. But Moana Pacifica, fair credit to them. They really took it to the Reds in that game. Well, Blackadder back, says Joe Webby. Said Joe Webby there, I should say. Well, I kind of did say it, didn't I? But yeah, big call to bring Ethan Blackadder back. Of course, he wants to get into that AB's jersey, but he's got to play a few games without an injury, and that is the hardest thing for Ethan Blackadder. But it will be the Crusaders kicking this one off from right to left. Hello, Hamish, your voice is loud and clear. Back to normal. I drink coffee here in Durban. Windy day, thanks to the Kiwi Lads. Says Brian, it's going to be kicked off down to the 22. should mention I am actually still sick, which is slightly unfortunate. Quite a long, drawn-out sickness, but we're getting there. I think that by the end of the weekend, we should be 100%, or at least maybe like 75%, and we'll go from there. But we haven't had much of a productive week, doing a lot of rest and trying to recover. But we're now ready to go for Super Rugby and the Champions Cup. As I have said, it's by 20, but I want to be wrong. Says Pads Ablaze. Oh, Hotham on the 22 goes off to Johnny McNichol. He's got some heavy strapping on that right leg. Of course, a lot of these players in Super Rugby at the moment are nursing injuries. Who's the captain for the Crusaders? Says Joe Webby. I think, if I'm correct, is it Quinton Strange? At the moment, nice hands out wide. Severus scores it. That was too easy. And that makes me a little bit concerned for the overall outcome of this game, because the Waratahs defence forgot that they had started the game. And that's not good. That's not what you want. We've got the AO Crusaders going to lose. Sorry, oh God. Says Beds Blaze. Yeah, that was like Tom Christie hits the ball up as you normally would. Hotham out to Jay Fiaki. Skip past, no winger. And then Severus just runs it in as if it was under nines. That's not good for the Tars. This is one of those games that I feel like this is what they need. Big win here gets them back on the winning track. They did lose by 20 to the Brumbies. They'll lose by 20 here as well if they're not careful. But Jake Gordon making the last-ditch effort of Severus after he had crossed the try line. But it was too easy for the Crusaders, and they are now 5-0 in this contest. Well, I'm okay then. Yeah, I didn't see... Well, I knew the Crusaders would start well, but not a minute in. Like, that just seemed a little bit too quick for my liking. And let's go to the Crusaders. Here's Kristen. And Yahoo Sater says, Lord Rapture, morning, evening. Says, pleasure, welcome in, mate. I need to check the Discord. That's reminding me. I haven't checked it all week. I've been rested up. And unfortunately, my phone doesn't have the Discord server on it. It's only on my PC. So I haven't actually played it, or been on it, I should say, that much. But I'll have to give it a look, won't I? I'm sure I've missed a lot. They lose by 50 plus. If this is how they're going to play out. Says Beds Ablaze. And I got the feeling the Crusaders are going to run rampant. Yeah, great start. 5-0 at the moment for the Crusaders. They scored that quickly. The scoreboard hasn't even realised that it happened. Although, chance here. Nicely claimed by Tristan Riley. And the Waratahs are now going to be on attack 15 metres out from the Crusaders line. A tackle made by Ethan Blackadder. He's getting back up. He's not injured. That's a good sign for the Crusaders. Question is, can he do that 15 times in this game without ending up with that injury? Short ball from Taney, a bit of a juggle from Charlie Gamble. He does regather, gets sent backwards. A big run from Thompson Stringer. Says become a Roomba dancer in full costume. Right, well that's something different, isn't it? See, that's the thing, I don't even know the result of that cricket match, so I'll have to give that a bit of a look too, won't I, for some context, because I assume they went back and forth a bit throughout the week. Why it's so small, or why a crowd's so small for many of the matches, even in New Zealand, says William Presley. I think it's just unfortunate that in some cases it's the prices, they're just too high. And we talked about it for the Sevens, I believe. The last Sevens event that took place in New Zealand wasn't sold out. The reason for that, tell you what, we're going to have to come back to that, because the Waratahs have just scored between the posts. Lockie Swinton, he's dyed his hair. He's got stuck in a paint bucket with white in it, but he's got himself the early try. I don't know what's going on in this game. We've already seen almost more tries in this game than we saw in Moana Pacifica versus the Reds for the whole first half. We've only been going less than 5 minutes. And early scores says Hanoi. And while we're losing some players, Fergus Burke going to Saracens. It's a shame to lose such promising players. What a strange game, says Lord Rapture. Yeah, I would agree with that. Waratahs 32, Crusaders 17, and here we go. We're in for a cracker of a game. Says Pads Ablaze. It'll be a pretty high scoring one. Question though is which one of these teams are going to be able to match this for the longest, because it's all well and good getting yourself the early tries, but you've got to make sure you're backing it up for the full 80. But yeah, 5-all. And this one's a lot easier for the Tars, so that kick will go over, making the score now 7 points to 5. They're not a weight defence found wanting. Says Joe Webby. But yeah, once again, like similar to how the Crusaders scored their try, they just put them through the gap. Nice little short pop pass. Our Reds almost got 3 reds, says Annoy. Yeah, they had a bit of a shocker, to be honest, with the discipline. Like that Fraser McWright one was just a silly tackle. Hamish, what's your prediction for this game? Says the Blacks Arm on. I think I went the Crusader. Ooh, that was a mistake on the touchline from Jay Fiaki. But yeah, I think I went the Crusaders by either. I think I said either they'd win it by a large margin, like kind of 15 or 20, or it would be extremely close and they'd just sneak it. But either way, I think the Crusaders will get the job done. The defence is needing to wake up like me. Here's beds ablaze. Ball is loose. Cleaned up now. Langy Gleeson on the halfway line. Oh, Reese took a bit of a knock to the eyeball, or at least the eyelid. That's knocked on by Lockie Swinton. Reese still doesn't look too happy in the back play. It'll be the first scrum of the match now. 6 minutes in of all-out tempo between these two sides. I think so too. There's the Blacks Arm on, and of course we've got plenty more action that is going to be taking place tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got 2 games of Super Rugby, including the Hurricanes taking on the Chiefs. That is like a main event of the weekend. And then after that, we've got the Rebels versus Highlanders, followed by Bordeaux versus Harlequins, La Rochelle versus Leinster, and then Northampton Saints versus the Bulls. So we've got 5 games. We're back to our normal schedule. Last weekend, we took it a little bit easy, saying that we still stayed up and did quite a bit more streaming than anticipated. But yeah, we're getting back onto close to what we normally would. Why weren't you streaming games last week? The main reason was the overlaps. Like we did a lot of the Hong Kong Sevens, seeing as it was the last Sevens that was taking place at that stadium. So it felt like one of those ones that we wanted to get as much done of the Sevens as we could. And a lot of the times they overlap with Super Rugby games. The other side of things was I was actually I was quite sick. And I tried to underplay it a little bit on the live streams, but I was not good. But the fact that we still probably streamed about 20 hours over 2 or 3 nights probably wasn't smart, but we still did it. And we got through it, which is nice. But yeah, I certainly felt it a couple of days after the weekend. It's over the top of Sever Reese. Big pass from Noah Hotham. I don't know why I call him Niall Hotham so much. I know that there's a Jasmine Felix Hotham, and there's also a Niall, well, what was Niall Williams, who scored a try for the Crusaders. It was Sever Reese. Out wide, now past one more, George Bell. Little chipping behind, cleaned up there for the Waratahs, who are inside of their own half and now starting to drive forward. Good low tackle made on him by Dallas McLeod, the Mighty Crusaders. Says the green zone boy, seems like you're feeling better, Hamish. I'm getting there. I would say at the moment we're about a 65 to 70%. So we're doing a lot better. Last weekend, I'll be honest, I was a 10 or 15%, if not worse. But we're good. And then we'll flushed out whatever's ailing you, says Fluffy. And we've got 10 gifted memberships from Xavier Brown. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Oh, I'll ask you the question, Xavier. How do you think the Rebels are going to do tomorrow up against the Highlanders? Because I honestly, they are considered slight underdogs, but they're actually not as big of an underdog as some people probably thought they would be. Little loop around play here. Levi Amor goes out to Sever Reese. Once again, is able to just run it in. He equals the try-scoring record for the Crusaders that I've just mentioned. And he's just bumped off Max Jorgensen, who didn't even try and tackle him. He's hurt himself. I don't know what the defense does not exist in this game so far. He decided to try and he went like this. He thought he was playing American football, the man. And he just takes it, just bomb. Sever Reese sits him down. That's not a tackle you want to see from your fullback. Right, we're going to see the replay here. Boom. He's almost lucky not to get a penalty against him for no arms. We have a real chance. Loved how we kept our discipline versus the draw. That was really well done by the Rebels because they could have easily fallen into the same trend as the draw had. But no, they did very well in that game. And it would have given them a lot of confidence. They're not sitting too badly on the overall table. Caleb Ralph, also 52 total tries. Severu's trying to get that next level. Yahoo Saders, 3 tries in 10 minutes. What's going on? That's a great question. I don't know what's happened to either of these sides. Like last week, the Waratahs, they were decent in the first half, and then the Brumbies did run away. And it seems like the Crusaders have picked up from where the Brumbies left off. Good kick from Riley Hohepa. Brings it round nicely. And then I'll now make the score 12 points to 7. Beds Blaze, you got to be on a laptop. I was going to do 10 myself, but YouTube don't like me. I didn't even know you could do 10. I thought that 5 was the limit that you can do. I think. Is it 10 would be the max, isn't it? That you're allowed to do. Or do they have like 25 and 50 on there? I know we've had a lot of 5s. He's trying to cap a Copiato car, hat-trick tonight versus the Storm. Hi, what have I missed? 3 tries in the first 11 minutes. These two sides are scoring frantically, and that is going to be another penalty now for the Waratahs. PC works fine too. It's just they don't want to work, or won't work. 50. I guess that's the thing. Their donations do go up to, I think it's like 600 New Zealand dollars. So I guess that makes sense that you can do 50. But 50 is a crazy number. Like 10's a crazy number. 5's a crazy number as well. Like in terms of memberships, I didn't actually get to see who got the memberships. But anyone who has got a membership, be sure to put those emojis in the chat. We want to see some of the nice old school ones. We're getting close to Christmas again, so that one will be coming in handy. Was Wednesday handing an assignment, but I'm here now for a bit. I hope you're doing well, says Beds of Blaze there. Now rolling maul for the Waratahs. Almost called them the Brumbies. Jake Gordon back across to Tane Edmed. Tackled early by McLeod. There we go. There's some emojis from Beds of Blaze. And that is going to be another penalty. Hamish, who's your favourite hooker? In Super Rugby or in general? And by general, I mean like the rugby world. Don't be thinking nothing else. And these teams should take 3 points. It looks like the Waratahs are now going too close to Xmas. Yeah, we're already into the 4th month of the year. It's gonna be Christmas before we know it. I donate to my local Savage Nation Army. Says Yikes. Bismarck says Annoy. I mean, Bismarck's always good if you want to get a card. Oh, Bismarck Duplessis. Comes back in every once in a while for the Bulls. Goes, hey, you want a red? There you go. Rugby World. See, it depends. Because, like, there was a point where Malcolm Marx just looked unstoppable, wasn't there? And then he got injured, so that kind of gave a lot of other guys a good opportunity to get going. Like, Dan Sheehan's pretty impressive for Ireland. And I know that annoys some people because, like, of course, that's not me saying that Ireland are number 1 at the moment because that gets confused sometimes. Like, also, Pieter Malwaka, I think in terms of his running game is incredibly impressive. Yeah, it just depends on what type of hooker you're after. H's favourite is the Nan at the bowling alley, says Grant. That is not true. Oh, our cricket team might be having a break-up at that bowling alley soon. I don't know when it's supposed to take place. I think we were supposed to do it like 3 weeks ago and it never happened. Oh, Edmund tries the little grubber in behind but cleaned up by Levi and Moore, passing off to George Bell. Now Fiaki puts the kick down the middle of the field. There's going to be a chance for the Crusaders to chase after this one. Nicely cleaned up by Dylan Peach. And the ball is still there. Malcolm Marx, that beautiful fullback tattoo, says Fleshin. We have got there. That's great. Dear tight and broken arm, all right. Says Bedza. And Crusaders are coming from this team 1 by 1. Coming for this team 1 by 1. To behind now. Does go into touch. Good clearing kick from the Waratahs. We're already 15 minutes in. I feel like it's, at the moment, we're almost having a good catch-up, which I quite enjoy. And it's made the game absolutely fly by for the first 15. Brendan Payangamosa, where'd that go? That disappeared. Signed with the Force. Interesting. The Western Force are a building team at the moment, I would say. Because they've got a lot of players that you would think put together, if they get a bit of chemistry, like, it would go all right. but it's hard to say, isn't it? I feel like they're one of those sides that are either going to be make or break over the next 2 years. And hopefully they find some sort of rhythm. But, yeah, he's a decent player. It's just every once in a while he can have those, 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 games that can kind of hurt them a little bit. And Jamie Hanna into the 22 here for the Crusaders. Score currently sits 12 points to 10 in favour of the away side as they put together 10 phases. Noah Hotham puts it back across to Riley Hohepa. McLeod, bit of hesitation. Pressure put on Jay Fiachi. Now kick downfield from Isaiah Parisi. He's getting after it. Fakiri's doing the same, but Johnny McNichol is back there to be able to clean that ball up. I would not recommend what Fluffy said. Sneaking up from behind. Hamish, can you give the chat some tips on how to approach a girl you like? Says Luke. I'll be honest, I have terrible experience in this department, only because in most regards, when it comes to the female, I was about to say the race, but the female species, I don't really leave my lounge, I like to stay here and hibernate. So that makes me not the best man for the job. Xavier, that's another 10. You got to be careful here. That's like $90 Australian or something like that, which is insane. So thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated. I'm sure everyone is absolutely loving getting those little membership icons and notifications. I should say, if you got any more rugby questions, go for it. So as you're being so generous. It's just show them your cucumber, says Yikes. I don't know if that works. Yes, I don't leave my lounge much, but I don't think getting that out would work too well. Female gender, don't call them a species. They seem like a whole different breed, to be honest. Basically what Hamish is saying is that he doesn't have Riz. Pretty much, yeah. I don't normally need to test it, so you prefer the girls to approach you from your lounge? I mean, they're committed when they're knocking on your windows, don't you? That hasn't happened, though. Girls love salads. They also love McFlurries, though, so you gotta get the balance right. Big run from Ned Hannigan. Langy Gleeson. Oh, he's gone straight through. Jamie Hanna has to stop him now. Offload up to Jake Gordon. Another pop pass. And that looks like it was close to Ethan Black at his ball. He's angry at the ref. It's going to bounce up. Riley Hohepa's there for it. But they will go back for another penalty in favour of the Waratahs this time. And that is for offside against the Crusaders. Hannigan has improved. He's been looking good this season. I feel like he's a good fit at the moment. A big flake in the McFlurry helps. Says Fluffy. Multiple offsides against the Crusaders. Got another gifted membership there from Xavier as well. What if they're lactose intolerant and can't have McFlurries? Simran, that's a good point. I mean, you could still go for something from Mickey D's, some chicken nuggets. Then if they're gluten intolerant as well, get them a bottle of water. People love drinking water because it helps them stay alive. So, I would be thankful for a bottle of water, definitely if it's a hot day. That kick's gone over from the Tars. They'll take the lead. KFC is better. KFC does have some good stuff. Whereabouts were you? You were working at one of them, weren't you, Xavier, if I'm correct? I think, it was at McDonald's, I believe. How are you liking it if you are still there, that is? Hopefully it's all going well for you. McFlurry sounds like a hairy Scottish woman. Chicken nuggets and sweet and sour sauce, plan B. See it, Fluffy? Yeah, their sweet and sour sauce is good. Can't deny that. 19 minutes in, another kick. Looks like it could be shaping up for the Waratahs. Some girls don't drink much water, but they do like having 3 different kinds of drinks at a time. Oh, okay, so if you're not going to get them a water, get them 3 beverages. We're learning. This is good info. On the halfway line. Well taken by the Crusaders. I feel like everyone can still tell that I'm slightly sleep deprived from last week and this week, to be fair. Noah Hotham passes off to the left-hand side. Quinton Strange trying to get through. Tackled by the bleach blonde hair old Lockie Swinton. I worked at McDonald's for 6 months last year. Now I'm doing a carpentry apprenticeship. Nice. Getting into the old carpentry trade. Not a bad one. That looked forward from Che Fiaki. We will never get through a stream without KC being mentioned ever. And the thing is, half the time, I don't even bring it up. I feel like that's the beauty of it, you know? I'm with you on the nuggies and sauce. Says Simran there. Going to be kicked high from Riley Hohepe. He was the only one actually chasing after that ball. He's gone for the turnover. He's lost his footing, so now it's back on the side of the Tars. Low tackle made by Ethan Blackadder. Now Swinton. Goes back to Tane Edmed. He looked for the offload. Stand up by Riley Hoyepe again. He's been extremely busy throughout this game, touching the ball every 5 seconds. Now Fiaki, back across to McLeod, has Jamie Hanna. That wasn't the best pass, and that wasn't the best work from my vocal cords either, making me sound like I'm back in high school. 55 metres out from the Waratahs line. Bauer hits it up again. Good tackle from Gamble. It seems like the defence has improved in this game, and people are at least making tackles now after the first 21 minutes. Now Hotham, going to put this high again. Looks like Johnny McNichol is chasing after it, thought about jumping up, and actually does take it. No one really looked fully committed to that one. Noah Hotham goes for another kick him high, but it's straight into the hands of Jorgensen, who tried to take the mark when he was outside of his 22. Nick Berry says, "What are you doing, mate?" A counter-ruck there from the Crusaders, led by Cullen Grace and George Bell, but the ball is still protected for the Waratahs. Ned Hannigan taken down at the kneecaps. I think Nick Berry just whispered to Quinton Strange, "Stop asking." I think he wasn't happy about him asking whether or not that ball was out of the back of the breakdown. Sounded like a disappointed dad. Jamie Hanna now, big shot on him. Crusaders back to the right-hand side. Hohepa goes to Cullen Grace, popping it in behind to Sevu Reese. He's through again. He's going for the record. Ralph is trying to stop him from doing so, sitting 52 each. Tom Christie went for the offload. It's knocked on. Here comes Reese again, and he's flicked it back on the inside. Keeping the ball alive. Another offload, and Dallas McLeod scores it for the Crusaders. I have 115 New Zealand dollars on the Tars to win, which is 100 Australian dollars here in dirty Sydney. Says yikes. Yeah, because I think the exchange rate's about $1.18 at the moment, isn't it? In terms of the comparison. And howdy, brother. Going to be a high-scoring game. This one, I'll say it's going to be close, but the Crusaders are going to hunt the Tars off the hill. Sever Reese, he's been very busy as well, and Sanjiva is in the chat. It said, "In, welcome in." Just knocked on by the Tars. Then Reese being able to kick that ball alive, got it away to Christie, and then McLeod finished the job. Crusaders take the lead back. Just fast-paced, isn't it? Between these two sides, it seems like they are both just going 110 miles an hour. And a few good offloads thrown in there as well by these two sides. How would Reese have done during the World Cup? You think? I think he would have been a decent option for them. Of course, it's very hard to say whether or not he would have been a standout or, you know, whether he would have struggled, just because, like, there's no real way to know. But with the form that he had beforehand, I would say he would have been a pretty good option. Would he have won them the World Cup? I don't necessarily think so. I don't think too much would have changed overall, but would he have been a good player to have in the team? Yeah, probably. Definitely with that injury of Amoni Narawa, I think that was something that hurt them quite a bit, because he seemed to be the guy that they were like, yep, we want to try and get him in there, and then he just unfortunately did get injured. Now the score sitting 19 points to 13 after the successful conversion from Riley Hohepu, who is really coming to his own. Oh yeah, charged down by Jed Holloway. And Hohepu, that's about his worst kick we've seen from him, so I just jinxed them badly on the 22. Now the Waratahs have got themselves the attacking line out. And Severo's having the best form of Super Rugby, in my opinion. Says Yuppie, yeah, since coming back from that injury, he's just hit it with 1,000 miles an hour, and he's starting to reap those rewards in terms of the tries that he's scoring. You know, every once in a while we'll go a bit quiet, but he still does a lot throughout the game. It's going to be another penalty going the way of the Waratahs. The Crusaders jumping across the gap there is what they have been penalised for. It's a common one that we're seeing quite a bit recently. Again, Jane Edmund will kick this one to the touchline. Yeah, there's just a little bit of connection there from Jamie Hanna. Okay, I think Jamie Hanna was just querying that. And how to Kiwi lads, how the week going for you? Have you given the Flu the red card? Not quite, I'd say it's still a little bit of a yellow card situation, but we're getting there. I'd say in terms of percentages, like I said earlier on, I'm probably like 65-70% at the moment health-wise, which is good because that's a lot higher than it was last week. But we should be all good for the rest of the weekend streams. A good attack and run from the Waratahs, who are only 10 metres out from the line. Sever is great, but falls short of legend status. Christian Cullen as what I would call legendary status. Says Michael, I think a lot of people would agree with you in terms of Christian Cullen. Although he's another one that injuries did definitely halter, if that's a word. It's more halt, isn't it? But like they changed his career quite a bit. What happened to Tamati Williams? He's injured at the moment, I believe. They've actually got quite an injury list, the Crusaders, and Ethan Blackadder returning today for his first game. That one's going to be another advantage in favour of the Waratahs. Jorgensen went for the corner, but Riley Hoipa manages to push him into touch. It's on report. The Flu, it can get upgraded to a red card. Oh, I hope it doesn't go back up to a red card. Oh, no, actually, you're right. Yeah, he said that a red card would be gone, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you're right. Argentina have been first in the sevens ranking after the most deplorable performance of all time is crazy. Says Katzenel. But, yeah, they've just had such a good season other than that last leg. And the thing is, yes, they are now missing Marcos Maneta, and they are actually missing him for the rest of the sevens. So that's a big hit because he's a game changer. But not having him there, it's been a lot of other players are now having to step up. Who do you think is going to win the Apaki final tomorrow, brother? It's a good question. It's Blues versus Chiefs, isn't it? I believe. Like, both have looked good this season, so, that's another Waratahs try. Ned Hannigan is the one who has scored it. This game is insane for the amount of tries that we are seeing. We are only 28 minutes through, and both sides are going to be verging on 20 points here. Look much better now, Hamish. Let's go to Kiwi Lads, says Blues Nate. Injuries and had coaching killed Cullen. Canes versus the Chiefs, says Carmen. Oh, the Hurricanes in the women's final. See, I thought the women's Hurricanes were at the bottom of the bunch. Yeah, it's Blues versus Chiefs. And then, of course, in the men's side of things, it's Hurricanes versus Chiefs tomorrow. But, like, I would say even though they are away from home, because they finished second, like, the Chiefs side just look good at the moment, don't they? Well, that's a lot of points, says Lord Rapture. It certainly is. Go the Hurricanes. See, it's Carmen. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Blues won it. I'm going to have a look through very quickly at their lineups, see all the names that I recognise. I don't think the Sevens ladies that are playing recently in the Sevens will be back yet. That one has gone over from Edmed. Now going to make the score 20 points to 19. Edmed looks scared with every kick. He's had some traumatising ones in recent times. Some 30 or 40 point game here tonight. Says Blues, Nate. Does look that way, doesn't it? Okay, so for the Blues, they've got Demant, they've got Rus, they've got... Oh, yeah. Noah Williams-Guthrie. Mikaeli Tu'u Va'akolo. Decent side. Then Ruby Tui's playing for the Chiefs. They've got Bremner, Hohepa. It's going to be a good game. Woodman Wycliffe off the bench for the Blues could be a bit of a dark horse. I think she's the only one from recent sevens that is in there. Now out wide, Dallas McLeod goes one more out to Che Fiaki. This is the kind of game she'll be watching because of the tries that keep popping up. Says Yuppie. It was close to an interception there for Jake Gordon, but 30 minutes in, Noah Hotham going across the Quinton Strange short ball to Levi and Moore. Crusaders just trying to get themselves back into it. They are down by 1 point, but that can all change. I find it kind of weird that the Chiefs men's are favourites. I would have thought the Hurricanes being at home would be favourites, having won all their games and Chiefs losing 2. I think that it's the winning streak of the Chiefs that makes them favourite, if that makes sense. I think that they're on a 5-match winning streak up against the Hurricanes, so that might be more of the factor. Like, yes, they've gone very well this year, but also we've got to remember they have the week off last week, whereas the Chiefs played and they won their game by about 50 points. So I think that's why, but yeah, the Hurricanes definitely will be in that game. If the Blues girls get going, they're pretty hard to stop, but Chiefs Manawa have some strike power, says Bear Flower. Exactly right. Like, that has potential being a very good game if it all flows smoothly. I think it's at 4:35, isn't it? If I'm correct. 4:05 when that one has taken place. Riley Hohepa passes back across to Levi and Moore. She's looked good with D-Mac. Without him, they appear to be the same as any other team, says Joe Webby. And yeah, there's so many good head-to-heads in that Chiefs vs Hurricanes men's game tomorrow. Because, you know, you've also got TJ Perenara starting at 9 for the Hurricanes now that they don't have Cam Roigard. It looks like an advantage. Yes, it is going to be one for the Crusaders. No clear release. Hohepa going to mind of Johnny McNichol. Passed out wide. Here comes Severis again, but it was Ford. So they will go back for the original penalty. Great game so far, very competitive. And Canes 56 to the Chiefs 49. Tell you what, if we had that many points, like, that would be an insane game. I miss Moonga playing for the Crusaders, says Carmen. I mean, there's quite a few Crusaders players out at the moment. A lot of people miss Will Jordan being in that Crusaders backline. They're talking about a little bit of a switch there for the Crusaders when it comes to their scrums. I think they've got them on a different side, or at least maybe out on the wings. They've got Ethan Blackadder swapping with Cullen Grace. Wales will win tomorrow because Waddy Egan is back. Did I say that terribly? I think I did. What's your thought on Cam Roigard's injury? Who do you think Razor will pick as his replacement? It's a really big, unfortunate injury for the All Blacks, just because so many people were looking forward to seeing Roigard as that starting 9, which I believe he would have been. The replacement, I honestly, like, I don't want to jinx it. It's early, so we can't say too much, but I don't think it would be impossible for him to consider TJ Perenara back in. And I know that that may not be the popular choice, but with the fact that you're losing your experience of Aaron Smith, and yes, Roigard wasn't going to be that experienced option, but just having TJ there with such a young All Blacks camp, I think would actually do them a lot of good in the long run. Geordie B will be Player of the Year. Big fight in the Canes versus Highlanders. Shirt off for the Landers. Says Carmen said about Roigard, hey brother. Would have been a closer game tomorrow, I reckon, says Beer Flavel. And Christie will get the nod. Says Michael, yeah, although not many people are sold on Finley Christie. Like, it's one of those ones that I want to see him really step up. And I don't think he did that throughout the World Cup. I think that he's still yet to find his form in Super Rugby Pacific at the moment anyway. So they may actually, like, I think Christie will still be one of the 3. But I think that they'll also go with maybe the Cortez Ratama or Falau Fakatava. And then maybe TJ also goes in as well as more experience. Or they may look at Christie as the experienced option for them. But I don't know if I see Christie as a match winner when it's a close game. What about Falau Fakatava? He is another one. Him and Cortez Ratama in terms of those two, I think are neck and neck at the moment. Really miss Brennan Ritchie. Poor decisions, says Sanjiva. I miss Barrett playing for the Blues, says Carmen. Scrum feed going to be here for the Waratahs. Christie played well when playing for the Hurricanes. When he moved to the Blues, not the same, says Joe Webby. Now back across Gordon. Goes to Ahmed. Passes out wide to Isaiah Perezi. Good low tackle made from Sevu Reece. Who do you think will captain the All Blacks? That is a tough question, isn't it? Because what is the go? I know I should know this, but I keep on getting it muddled up with other competitions. If they're playing in Japan, can they or can they not play for the All Blacks? They can't in the July, I don't think, but they can in November. Is that correct, ladies and gentlemen? Or is that only because it was a World Cup year that those guys who were playing in Japan were able to play for the ABs? Because I get very confused about the Japanese top league. That seems to be a little bit different to some of the other competitions. I know if they're in France, they aren't allowed to. Looks like they're going to take another 3-pointer here, the Waratahs, which would actually give them a 1-point lead once more. I think that's Ardi. Probably, or Talia, I think that is, from Carmen. Scott Barrett, and good to see you, mate. It seems like a good game, says Mikel there. Yeah, been very back and forth between these two sides. He isn't the best, but his best ever showing was the win in Melbourne a few years back. He's an elusive halfback if put into space, says Michael. Yeah, like in terms of the line break, he's a very good support runner. And you notice that quite a bit. Even with the Blues, when he's most heavily involved, it's normally when he's done a pass, then he's ready to go for that next pass. Pareki was captain. They would take a line out against against Wales in the Cup, says Hanoi. That is now going to be as Stuff just said, the 7th lead change in this half. 7th. 23 points to 22. Probably surely as captain, great player and leader and deserves to get the chance too, says Beds Ablaze. Yeah, it's all down to Razor though, isn't it? No one really knows what to expect from him, which I like a little bit, but at the same time, it makes it very hard to predict things when you don't know what his thinking's going to be. Like, he could go with 25 Crusaders players in his All Blacks squad, or he could go with like 4 or 5. It's just, you just don't know. And also, Benny Binkle is the All Blacks captain this year. He plays rugby in the Rimutaka Forest. And Idiot Rules Y says Katsanel, a big fan from Lockie Swinton, sits down Tom Christie. Tiny Med, another low tackle, idiotic rules. Which rules we talking? The Japan selection one, Katsanel, I assume. It is weird, to be honest. Like, they're one of the only sides who now don't allow overseas selections, and I get that it's because they're trying to grow grassroots rugby here. The money's just too good overseas. Like, a lot of players are getting lured away. Bring back Buck, says Lord. And Sharks playing Edinburgh quarterfinal. Sharks beat Zebra 47-3, says Carmen. I wanted to cover that game, but sadly they don't show it here in New Zealand for the Challenge Cup, which is a shame because Sharks vs Edinburgh I think would actually be a very good game. Who knows? I'll try and see if they're showing the quarters, but they may not be. I think TJ or Damian McKenzie should captain the All Blacks because they're experienced or more experienced than others. I could see TJ as a captain because I can already, if he gets selected, he's leading the haka. I feel like that's the easiest part solved because other than that, I don't know who else would actually lead the haka for the ABs, but that's not why I would put him in there. It's more for that experience and yeah, like maybe him and someone else as a co-captain. Give one of those younger guys the chance. Get a little bit of a, even him and, I don't know, him and Geordie Barrett, co-captains. Get a bit of Kane's chemistry going. Another offload there. Although Scott Barrett, if he's going to be back, he might be an option as well. It's kicked him high by the Crusaders. That ball will bounce into touch. Probably a little bit lucky there for Tainium because that would have been an awkward bouncing ball. TJ has a good shout, to be honest. And he's playing well. So here's Pads of Blaze. Yeah, it's just about whether or not he gets that same form when he starts matches. Like, he's come on the bench when the Hurricanes have worn down opposition, and he normally scores a few tries along the way, but it's whether or not before the opposition are starting to get a little bit slower, he can still create some good stuff for the ABs. And for the Hurricanes, of course. Now, 25 seconds remaining in this first half. Still a 1-point game between these two sides. Nicely thrown in by Ned Hannigan. Berry says to use it. Gordon's going for the box kick. Tristan Riley chasing after it nicely, taken by Johnny McNichol, who gets sliced and diced by Langy Gleeson. And they're running an escort line, so that is going to be a penalty now to the Waratahs. DJ too old. But for one season. That's the thing. I don't see him as a full-time option, but for this the close season, with the fact that Roy Gard's gone, it just makes me think that they may look to have someone a little bit older in there, just to give them some sort of experience and, just to help make decisions. Between Japanese and European rugby, they are weakening the ABs, says Joe Webby. And the player who leads the haka does not have to be Māori. These boys have come through New Zealand schoolboys rugby for our sake. One, says Peaceful Clever. That is true. It's just more of the case of when I think through of this All Black, Sean Stevenson could be an option. And I know you just mentioned about not having someone who is Māori as the only option, but I think, you need someone who's going to not so much intimidate the opposition, but say it with passion, and that is normally what you get with someone like a TJ, or as Aaron Smith did so well for so long, was just screaming it at the top of his lungs. Right, they're wanting to check a grounding here. I didn't think it was obvious. I'm right on. Sean Stevenson would be good. Says Peaceful Cleaver. Yeah. I didn't mean to go straight into a Māori player as well after you had just said it can be someone else other than... Okay, it's going to be no try. They're not even going upstairs. They've checked it. They've said it's fine. And a half-time in this contest, it is 23 points to 22. Good defence from Tom Christie to be able to pull it up and keep it there. And tell you what, it was close. Just on the replay, Noah Hotham also getting the hands underneath alongside Tom Christie. This has been a close game. And I have no idea who's going to win it. But currently, the TAB is going to tell us. And it is going to be $3 underdogs for the Waratahs. Are you going to be involved in the Max Brown Rugby Charity Match? The Max Brown Rugby Charity Match. Not that I know of. Who is Max Brown? Max Brown Rugby Charity Match. Am I going to find it on Google? It's on TikTok from 2 months ago. Maybe. But yeah, I have not heard anything about it. If it, is he based in New Zealand or is he based overseas? One of the stadiums behind him kind of looks like a big, English one. As Severis, Mark DeLeo, Moni Nuttall and Sean Stevenson should be the backs, says Mr. Bravestone. It's a pretty good back line, to be fair. Although, who's your... So Sean Stevenson, I assume, is your 15. Who's your backup 15? Is that McKenzie, I guess, maybe? You'd have him as the other option. And would you go with any of those guys like Kenny Naholo or anyone like that sneaking in? I'm just about to look up this charity match. You read on those backs, says Peaceful Clover. Is it half-time? It is, yes. Let us not neglect Caleb Clark. Yeah, to be fair, he's been playing a much better season than he had in the past. Let's go, says Hensel. And go NRL Sharks, says Carmen. Okay, so it's like a... Have they got a date for Xavier? Are you doing more streams after this match? Not for tonight. Tomorrow, though, we have got 2 games of Super Rugby and 3 games of the Champions Cup that are taking place back to back to back. So tomorrow, first game is at 7 p.m. New Zealand time. I'm quickly going to go over to the schedule. Yeah, so 7 p.m. Oh, they might be showing the Challenge Cup here. That means that we might be able to do the Sharks versus Edinburgh game as well. One moment, I am just scrolling slowly across. Yeah, so Hurricanes versus Chiefs at 7. Then we have got at 9:30 the Rebels taking on the Highlanders. Then that game between the Sharks and Edinburgh, does that overlap? Starts at 11:30. It shouldn't, but it could. We'll see, but hopefully we can do that game as well. And then we would have 3 games of the Champions Cup afterwards is brutal, but we might still do it. That's 6 games in a row. What's up with rugby? Games on 2 days a week, NRL's on 4 days, and that's a better product. Says Dwayne. I think it's just because we've only got 4 teams competing at the moment. Like normally they would scatter them over 3 nights for Super Rugby, but I think more recently they have actually been doing 6 games across 2 nights. And it's quite brutal, to be honest. I feel like you want to spread it out so that people can get invested in each game rather than being like, okay, I'm watching this game now, I've got to try and get excited for this one and then this one and then this one type thing. But yeah, it's an interesting one. A Sharks playing at home beat Zebra at home, says Carmen. It looks like they're playing at home again up against Edinburgh, if I'm correct. But it's nice to see that they have actually got the Challenge Cup on this week, because last week they did not. Unfortunately, they did have it missing. Yeah, we might do a little bit more of the rugby than anticipated, especially nothing on Sundays. Yeah, Sunday rugby's quite nice, isn't it? Like, if anything, I would have thought that having rugby on Saturday during the day would be the one that you don't have, and you do it on Sunday instead, so that you can actually have it that you get, like, Saturday rugby, you can actually go and watch grassroots rugby, if that makes sense. Like, they always talk about New Zealand, how they want to improve grassroots rugby and they want to get support for it. But having games of Super Rugby taking place at the same time as grassroots rugby is not going to help grassroots rugby, because people aren't going to go watch grassroots rugby if there's a Super Rugby game on. Some might, but not anywhere near as much. So, yeah. Interesting that they don't have Sunday games, and it's a while till we get a Sunday game. I'll just quickly get it. Rugby calls their 4 passes. What is up with the league? Says yikes. Yeah, they just sometimes just let it slide, don't they? Bulls will upset Northampton at home with a second string side. That concerned me a little bit when I saw the side that they were putting out there, but like, that's the thing. Like you said, they actually, if they travel well, which they haven't been known to in the past, but that's not necessarily the end of the world, because that's normally up against URC teams. We don't know how they'll travel up against an English side that much, so I think they'll do all right. I did pick them to be able to win that game. NRL is great. There is NBA, NFL, PGA, etc. Oh, that reminds me, there's some golf starting soon. Which, is it the Masters? Masters Golf? Is that coming up on the 12th? Start on the 11th. It's already happened. Oh, Bryson DeChambeau's in the lead. Fair dinkum. Fair play is what I was meant to say. Who's your picker for the locks of the ABs? If Barrett is still injured, are looking a bit lean. Yeah, they will have a bit less oomph. And there I think that they'll probably still try and stick with Josh Lord, Tupavai, and who else do you go with? Jamie Hanna looks all right, to be honest. Like, I don't know if he's All Black material, but he's had a good season so far. You've got, James Tucker if you want a slightly older player, or Tui Palotu. You got Pari Parkinson or Zaya Walker-Leowiri. But I agree. I think that lock's probably where they're most susceptible to a little bit of needed players. The next Sunday game, like you could count the one that takes place on Saturday very late in the evening for the Western Force, but I don't really count that. So the next Sunday game is actually in 43 days' time. Ngā Taua Koe is another decent option. With rugby, I can only stomach Crusader matches as that's my team, but NRL, I can enjoy any match, even if the Sea Eagles aren't playing. But for internationals, it's rugby all the way. Says Dwayne. And say it is to make the knockouts and surprise a few teams if they can get healthy. And also, Northampton are top of the Prem, though, no pushover. That is true. And, like, that's the thing. I don't know why, but this Northampton side, like, when you're looking through at their lineup, I think the thing that's quite exciting about them is they don't have, like, a huge, like, chunk of well-known players, if that makes sense. And that's a good thing, I think. Because then they just show people that they're a very good side and they don't need those big caliber players as well. Like, I'm going to look through at their last lineup that they had. You know, they had Tommy Freeman, Dingwall. That's where he comes from. Love that name. Birger Orendale at number 12. Fletcher Smith. Lewis Ludlam, Courtney Laws. So they've got some decent names there, but not like to the same level, I would say, as some of the other sides in the Premiership. Tiger Woods 1 under. Do much partying. So many hole-in-ones, says Tiger Woods. Oh, sorry, says Blues Note. And snack hot dog popcorn. Is that a thing? A huge love for the NRL, especially back in the early 90s. There's Peaceful Cleaver. And Bulls won't make it happen this weekend, methinks. It's so hard to know how the Bulls are going to travel. Because they're either going to nail it and they're going to do extremely well and everyone will go, whoa, okay, that's pretty cool. Or they're going to struggle and everyone will be like, oh, yeah, so it's like when they played Leinster. The likes will be the guys in the squad last year, Barrett, if fit, Vai, Lord, you'd expect, says Dwayne Jose. The Wallabies will be the favourites this year because they got Kurito and so many others, says Mr. Bravestone. Although we're still seeing a lack of performing when it comes to Australian sides versus New Zealand teams. Like early on in the comp, it looked like the head-to-heads were going to be extremely close, and then they slowly got more and more one-sided over the weeks to come. This one's a good indication, though, in terms of the fact that they're going quite well. Northampton are my nearest Prem side, so where I live, I believe, says... Oh, sorry, side 2 where I live, I believe. Sorry, the way I read that was like inspirational, wasn't it, Fletcher? But really, you're just like, they're the closest stadium. And this match has been a good game so far. By high scoring, says Kristen Rush. Yeah, very back and forth between these sides. How old are you? I am 24, believe it or not. Some people think I'm way older. Some people think I'm slightly younger, but, 24. I am 24. Yeah. I actually forgot how old I was. That's how old I'm getting. I was at my cricket breakup and someone asked, how old are you? And I said, 23. And then luckily my mum was there because she was watching the prize giving. She thought I might get an award and she was correct. But yeah, then she was like, no, you're 24. And I was like, oh, I'm 24. So yeah, I kind of forgot. You're actually 14, don't lie. Says Birds of Blaze. I'm not quite that young. If I shave my beard, I look a little bit younger. But I also look a lot weirder, so it's a bit of a bad payoff, really. I'm 11, says Carmen. So yeah, I'm more than double your age, fun fact. That makes me quite old. Bro didn't know what age he was, says Kristen. That's it. You get to a stage, you just kind of forget, like, you get to that stage of, yeah, I'm getting up there. Like, not up there as in, like, I've only got a bit of time left, but getting up there as in, you just kind of, it rolls around, another birthday, another Christmas. But, she'll be right. And so what if Joe Schmidt and David Nikiphora, ex-Ireland manager and coach, turns the Wallaby teams into a winning team, becomes successful before the Rugby World Cup 2027? Will they make Ireland rugby look like it's bad? Says Blues Note. Good question. Do you know what's funnier than 24? You're not going to do the SpongeBob joke, are you? Who would win 100-metre sprint between Severise and Cheslin Cole? It depends on the conditions, I think. Because, like, are you talking in terms of, like, the same length stride? Because we've got to remember Super Reese is slightly taller than Cheslin Colby, so he probably takes less steps in his 100-metre dash. Another inspiration about Northampton, it's a dump. Says Fleshin, Australia Rugby lacks playmakers. Once they get a good one, they will be better. Says Joe Webby. Second half just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, normally halftime breaks in the Super Rugby competitions taking place in Australia. Those games do have a longer break. But we're not too far away from the second half. Halftime's flown by because we've just been talking about a whole heap of random rugby, which is great. You're not that old. Cheers. That is what we like to hear. Sometimes I feel like I'm 80, says another mum. I mean, I know I'm a lot younger than some people in the chat, but I get those days a little bit too. Colby's quick over the first 40, but his top end speed is not as quick as people think, says Grant. He's very good at changing direction and being quick. I'll be quiet now because it was the SpongeBob joke. I thought it was coming. And then it just made me think, for some reason, of a McFlurry. What is your score prediction for this match? I honestly don't know. Like, the Crusaders, I said, would either win this game narrowly or they'd win it by about 15. I don't know what way it's going to go here. Andy Farrell is done and dusty. Won't win a World Cup with him. Unless you have Ronan O'Gara as head coach, likely to win the Rugby World Cup. 34-30 to the Crusaders. Okay, so you're going a little bit lower scoring by the looks of that. We'll check the TAB odds again, ladies and gentlemen. Check them on the old iPad. We get fancy with it. And hey, fam, hope you're all good. Says Marco, I certainly am, Johnny. Hopefully you are feeling good as well. This looks like Jake Gordon's got a little bit of Vaseline down the side of the eye, just trying to hold everything together. Just mention a point a minute already has been scored. I got to go. See you later. Kristen, great win for Moana Pacifica. Good to see them. And the Drua doing well. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I didn't expect the Moana Pacifica side to be able to compete the way that they did. And, like, that's a huge compliment to them, I believe. I see taken by Chefiaki. Oi, he almost did his ankle there. I watched the World Cup on SABC or SABC Sports, no pay free, says Carmen. And it was like, that's the thing. Sometimes you need a free option for a bit of rugby, and that is what some places did. Like SABC had it. The HSBC 7s used to be free to wear. I think it still is in some countries. Little grubber in behind here from the Waratahs. Chasing up this beautiful pickup from Max Jorgensen, but he's chased down by Super Reese, who gets over the ball, wins the turnover as well, and Fiaki is able to try and clear his lines. They need mid. About 35 metres. Our hospitality packages are now on sale for the Bledisloe Cup. Fiji is no longer free, which is a massive shame, seeing as Fiji have such a rugby culture. And, you know, they're so good in their rugby sevens. Even when they're struggling, they're still very entertaining to watch. It's a shame that it's no longer a free option. Ned Hannigan now going to be passing across to Max Jorgensen. Now to Peach, trying out some quick stepping. Gordon milks it, passes it straight into him, wins the penalty, throws it into touch. You're in offside position, don't just stand there, was the comment there from Nick Berry. Some referees would have said play on for that one. Okay, Jake Gordon's just saying to the ref, he knows it's not a very popular thing to do, but he was just standing there. So sad for him. It should be free to air in Fiji, says Blues Nate, and also go the drawer, says P in there. And sadly not playing this weekend, but we are going to be covering, of course, the Fijian draw next weekend when it does take place. Some good passing out the back line for the Waratahs. They have got themselves the line out 10 metres out from the line. Looking to roll forward here. George Bauer trying to get through the middle. That ball doesn't look like it's going to be coming out here. Or is it? No, it's not. And Cole says Peaceful Clover. And 10th of August, however, versus Australia 4th time. Says Peaceful. And also Olympic 7's not far off, says All In Game. That is true, and I know, right? But I heard there's new government, so it's no longer free. Says Mr. Bravestone. And if the Tars win, well. Says a Knob Mum. Well, that's the thing. All of these New Zealand sides, it seems like, I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, but I've noticed there's a lot more rivalry happening between New Zealand sides when they play Australian sides than the Australian side that they're playing. Like, a lot of supporters of certain New Zealand teams want other New Zealand sides to lose so that their side get the boost and go up a little bit. We've seen it for Blue supporters, Chiefs supporters, Hurricanes, all those teams right at the top. They're hoping for the other side's demises so that it then gives their side that little bit of an extra jolt up the rankings. We're seeing 3.5 minutes into the second half. Canes are new Z. Okay, there was an elbow down and a knee down in the front row there. And the Reds Oz says Carmen. Okay, asking for a bit more height. Scrum time as well. Scrum's actually something we didn't see too much of throughout that first half of rugby. I shall mention the next games that we are covering, ladies and gentlemen, are tomorrow. First of which being the Chiefs versus the Hurricanes. That is going to be a good game. Rebels versus the Highlanders is the one after that. And then there is the Challenge and the Champions Cup all taking place. Now, Noah Hotham going back to Riley Hohepa. And it goes into touch. It'll be about 30-ish metres out, maybe a little bit closer, about 27. Be a Waratahs line-out throw for Julian Heaven. Fans of Byron Bay. I still remember this run. I was running against the LAPD. But then the Rodney show. Says yikes. Going to be thrown in nicely, taken by Lockie Swinton, who, to be honest, after scoring that very early try, we haven't seen a huge amount of throughout the rest of this game. But Gordon goes back across, this time to Dylan Peach, looking for the offload on the inside, goes through the hands of Swinton, goes backwards. Now Edmed goes back across to Harry Johnson-Holmes. Wrestled down by Cullen Grace. Edmed, and behind to Isaiah Parisi, lined up early by Jamie Hanna. Trying to rip him down to the turf. Gordon gets the ball away. Hannigan, big shot on him by Reese. Now Edmed goes to Thompson Stringer. Straight into that breakdown was Blackadder, but he does not win that turnover penalty. Now a little kick in behind from Lalakai Fakiti goes straight to Che Fiaki. Gets a massive boot downfield in open space. Edmed has to retreat. Take it inside of his 22. Does put the ball in touch. If Crusaders win by one and the draw will be in the top 8. Says Kano, that is correct. And of course that is dependent on the Highlanders as well. If the Highlanders manage to get themselves to win tomorrow, that would boost them up, and I think that would knock the Drua out of that top 8. OJ Simpson used to say, I'm OJ, says Peaceful. Now George Bell. To throw this ball in again, nicely claimed by Culling Race. Riley Hoihepa, now short ball from Levi Amua, moving up to the halfway line. Blackadder gets the offload away to Levi Amua, who offloads it again to Tom Christie. Passes it out wide. It is Ford to Reese. Reese got 2 red cards, McRide and McDermott. Says Carmen, yeah, it wasn't a good day to have Mick in your name, or else you were going to the bin. Johnny McNichol, we've hardly seen him throughout this game. Hey, let's go the Tars, says William. There as well. Just talking about Severeese and Caleb Ralph, both sitting there. 52 total tries. The luckiest guy in history. If the gloves don't fit, you must dismiss. Says yikes. Will Jordan's on that list with 38. Cody Taylor with 42. Leon McDonald with 42. Fiji Jindra will play against the Hurricanes at 7:05. at HFC Stadium in Suva. Says Mr. Bravestone. Some good games of Super Rugby coming up. Mick and Longbottom. Says Nazi Williams. Johnny will win for them again, says Beastal Cleaver. Well, that's the thing. He's been very quiet, whereas in that game up against the Chiefs, he was absolutely everywhere. So, you know, last moments of this game, if he's still on the field, of course, depending on what they decide to do with their bench, it looked like a bit of an early push from the Crusaders, but Jake Gordon manages to break off the back, still in the hands of the Waratahs. Now in the midfield, Ed Med gets it away to Max Jorgensen. Anyone know how Whainaunuku is going in France? I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea. We'll do a quick Google. See how he's going. I don't even... What side did he go to in France? I honestly can't even remember. I think it was it Toulon? Where did he end up in the end? Out of the French sides, I can't even think of what team he ended up at. But we will have a look. Was it in the Pro D2? And fine touch there. Jake Gordon. Fiaki does run this ball back. Noah Hotham. Across there to Tom Christie, George Bell. Trying to get out of that one, not able to. His real name is Lester Offa Key Wales Twickenham Whainaunuku. And King Horn moved to Toulouse. And Julian Sava has now pulled back away from TJ for the top scorer. And Toulon says Pads. This is currently Toulon on the overall standings of the top 14. They are sitting in 4th, which is decent. We'll look at their most recent game. See if he played. He probably didn't, though. But we'll see if he got the opportunity once it loads. While we are at it as well, ladies and gentlemen, there is another stoppage in play. And it is the Crusaders lining up 3 more points. So the last game that they played, they beat Bayern 46. Oh, he scored the last try of the last contest that they played. Question is, did he start? He did. He started at number 13. Got himself one try in that game. So he might be going all right. Riley Hoyepa, though, lines up that kick, and it has gone over. Now make the score 25 points to 23. It says he's played 11 and scored 4 tries so far. So that's probably not too bad for a top 14 centre. You know, normally those guys are just running back and forth at times while the kicking battle does take place. Sia Khaleesi got knee injury against Toulouse. Says Carmen. I think Artie Savi will return in July. Says Mr. Bravestone. That's going to be partially charged down by the Waratahs. Actually means that the Crusaders do end up with the line-out throw here. Johnny McNichol thought about taking it quickly. The thing is, I think he was actually on the mark, so he could have. He's playing for Racing 92. I googled, that's really his name, says Dwayne. So they thought they'd just throw in his favourite country, favourite stadium, and then the last name for Whainaunuku. O'Reilly Hoyepa, little chip of mine. Here comes Johnny McNichol. Oh, he's been tripped by Levi Amua, who's going to score the try. But that was almost a massive balls up for the Crusaders because that almost ended up. The only reason Johnny McNichol actually passed that ball is because Levi Amua foot tripped him. They're going to check this. See whether or not it was forward, though. I need to hear from Brody on the Behemoth phone line from Japan. But yeah, beautiful chip in behind. That looks forward to Levi Amua. So I think this is going to be no try. Levi Amua might have just shot himself in the foot. Got tripped up, and I think that is for good part or catch what a pass, but it was forward though. Says Blues Nate. So yeah, I think it's going to be no try for Levi Amua. forward out of their hands, and yeah, miles forward. Says Novmum. Even Levi Moore pat on the back, although if he had not tripped Johnny McNichol, he probably wouldn't have passed it at the time that he did. He probably would have taken one more bit of contact. Now they've said he's clipped himself. He got clipped by Levi Moore, I believe, when he cut across his back. Tosso Crusaders, Tosso, says JMS. Right, first scrum, nice and slow is the comment there from the referee. Owen Franks and Joe Moody, both now on the field. While the Crusaders. So Michael Hooper watching on for this game. Happy to be in attendance. He's trying to stick his fingers in his friends' mouths at the moment. Of course, having recent Sevens appearance at the Hong Kong Sevens. The Australians. Now, ball's there for Langy Gleeson. Finds the offload away to Lockie Swinton. So Brodie McAllister also now onto the field for the Crusaders. Kicked him on from Tane Edmed, looking for space. But it is there for Fiaki, who runs into his teammate Hotham. Blackcat also off the field for Christian Leo Willie 10 years later. Far out, says Blues Nate. Yeah, it's 10 years after that big Waratahs win, isn't it? Well, no, it's 10 years, sorry, since the Waratahs. Was it since they joined Super Rugby? Maybe? 52 minutes in at the moment. Yeah, New Zealand Rugby on top, thank you. Says Beastball Cleaver. This game's had a bit of a stalemate though. Both of these sides have become more evenly matched throughout the second half. There's been a lot less defensive errors and probably a lot more handling errors, to be honest, for these two sides. Ned Hannigan, player was penalised for that one. Brodie McAllister now thrown into the front to Drummond. Christie lobby pass to Dallas McLeod. Doesn't pop pass on the outside to Levi Moore. Now across again, Drummond. More. They're making quite a few changes, the Crusaders, compared to what they had at the start of this match. They also made the change at 10 with Raives Rayana. That was very close to an interception. Joe Moody, though, gets it across to Severis. Ball out to Levi Moore. Now trying to look for the flick pass out the back door, but Christie wasn't there. We've got a donation from Blues Nate as well. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated once more for your super stickers. Big Finn from Cullen Grace. Taken down by Isaiah Parisi. Raives Rayana on the field for Riley Hochepa. I don't think Macca Springer is on there just as of yet, but Christian Leo Willie is. Don't think Dom Gardner is either. All good, Skivvy lads. Here's Blues Nate. Now Leo Willie goes behind to Johnny McNichol. Cullen Grace tries the little grubber in behind. And they will go back for the penalty. I think his teammates were a bit offside though. So that is why the penalty is going to be in play instead. Jay Gordon just getting the fingertip to the ball. Barry says he was trying to catch that. I feel like, they're taking on the 3 again by the looks of it here, the Crusaders. Both of these sides have accepted that 3-pointers may be the difference here. So they just want to get as many of them as possible when the opportunity arises. Looks like now Tane Edmed has made his way from the field, and that brings on Will Harrison. Handy option for either 10 or 15. Still got Joey Walton make his way out onto the park later on too. It is kicked at the post by the Crusaders, and it has gone over. Now making the score 28 points to 23. Now, that is still not enough of a lead to feel comfortable or complacent in this game. Either of these sides still have a brilliant chance of being able to finish off this game. Makes for exciting rugby, not, says Kano. In there as well. Harry Johnson-Holmes, he has gone off the field. That is for Tom Ross. Taken well by Jamie Hanna just outside of the Crusaders 22. Reyes Rehana. Downfield, well taken at the back for the Waratahs. They are sitting 40 metres out from their own line. Here comes Will Harrison. Thought about offloading it to Dylan Peach. But hangs on to it instead. Gordon back across to Hannigan. So down, of course, the Waratahs had that great game up against the Fijian draw where they had to dig deep late in the contest. That is some fantastic passing. Lalakai Foketi, ball on the inside to Harrison. And once again, Sever Reese has pulled off a try-saving tackle. The Waratahs are 2 metres out. That was absolutely fantastic work from the Crusaders winger, but he hasn't been able to stop the Waratahs winger that time. And Dylan Peach gets over. We're back to 28 all. And there will be no Aussie triumph. It's still anyone's game, says Novmum there. Come on the Tars, don't let the Crusaders win, says Pads Ablaze. But Dylan Peach this time's going to be the man who crosses the try line. I still don't know who's going to win this game. They're just going back and forth too often. Waratahs are still considered as underdogs. Then if they get this kick over, they might even boost up to slight favourites. Come on, ref. Says, yikes, what was he going to penalise them for there, though? Like the Waratahs, I assume that is, but... yeah, some great... Oh! Was that knocked out of Dylan Peach's hands? We're going to see it here from this angle. No, he was all right there. It's just that other angle made it look a little bit like a bit of a fumble. Just scored 3 now for his Super Rugby Pacific season. Now lining up this kick, Will Harrison. And it is good. Waratahs taking the lead again. I'd actually prefer it if you were sipping a beer between your flawless calling. Says Peaceful Clever. Although we've got like 5 live streams in a row tomorrow. So if this was a beer or any sort of alcohol, I think by those last streams, my brain would stop working. Which is probably actually more entertaining than if it is working. Still plenty of time. Says another mum. It's now kicked off. Lalakai Fokiti kicking it into touch as well. Just inside of Tars territory now. Crusaders with the line out. If Australia managed to beat Australia this year, I'm moving back to Argentina. Australia managed to beat Australia. I assume one of those is supposed to be Argentina. Maybe if it's Argentina beat Australia this year, you're moving back. Is there any chance for the draw, says Mum? I mean, there's always a slight chance. Waratahs fans not happy about the way Mitch Drummond milked that penalty, forgetting that Jake Gordon did it about 7 minutes ago. Now back across to the right-hand side. Dallas McLeod goes to Che Thiaki. Puts in the fend, but Lalakai Fokiti able to stop him. Pulled him down just like he pulled down his shorts, which sounds dodgy, but he did it. I might have to eat my words when I say the Crusaders will run rampant. That's going to be the penalty to the Crusaders. They're going back for the original advantage. And come on, Oz. Beat ourselves, says Peaceful. So Reyes Rehana now. We'll be kicking this one towards the touchline. Tired looking players. They're on the field though. Try not to have a brain fade like Tate McDermott. Says Kano. One's just gone into touch. Levi Moore's not looking that nimble. It looked like his knees have stopped working. Yes, beat. Says a Peaceful. I wonder whether or not that is going to be a Moore coming off for Macca Springer or not. I think they are leaving him out on the field. But now Tom Christie breaking off the back goes to Christian Leo Willie. Tackled by Sangster. Oh, no, sorry, not Sangster. It was Gleason. And then one day we will have a Drunk Hamish live stream. Says Grant, maybe one day. Wouldn't that be fun? Short side, Leo Willie. Go short side, I've just heard someone yell out. So Drummond did. And now they're going to the short side again here with Jamie Hanna. 2 meters out from the line now. Waratahs defending. And that's close for Christian Leo Willie. There is also an advantage. I made an error, but Australia wouldn't even beat their own B team at the moment. And this is insane. Come on, the Crusaders. Here's Peaceful. They've gone short side again. Drummond dives over. And the Crusaders take the lead back, making it 33-30. This has been such a seesaw game. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this has to be top 5 most lead changes in a game of Super Rugby before. And Drunk stream with the boys says, Kato, will you do promotions? That depends on what we're promoting, Mum. And Yahoo, if you tug with one hand, the butt plug with your other hand, is that considered a threesome? Says, you're asking the hard questions, mate. That is for sure, but that is a great try from Mitch Drummond on the short side. Okay, they were checking the grounding, but there's no separation for Mitch Drummond. Now the whole team taking some deep breaths. They will now be ready to go again. I just mentioned it as well, another lead change for this contest. We're up to about 10 or 11 at this stage, and that one's hit the post for Reves Raihana. Ten back and forth lead changes. They're just about... Okay, no, they're just saying it's going to be a crazy finish. I thought they were going to say maybe it was some sort of record. Or at least up there, 11 lead changes. Says Novmum. They were checking to make sure they were still employed. Says Peaceful Cleaver. In there as well. I felt like a drunk stream with the boys. We end up being an ad for KFC. It probably would, yeah. Probably, although we'd have to get the KFC beforehand, I would say. Just to be safe. There we go. It's just back and forth. What games are coming up over the weekend, roughly, Hamish? So the plan is 2 Super Rugby games tomorrow. Then we're hoping to do Challenge Cup. Then we're hoping to do the 3 games of the Champions Cup as well. Now, subject to change, the games that are most unlikely out of all of those ones would be probably the 3 in the middle. But if we're not doing one of them, we'll probably do the other 2. Promotion for my channel, which is related to cricket. Says a mum, what type of cricket stuff do you post? We're going to be posting stuff about the Pakistan versus New Zealand series coming up soon. So yeah, what type of cricket do you do? Do let me know. And good hand, says Blues Native Chiefs versus Canes. Let's go, says Josh. Will Harrison actually had his kick charged down there up onto the shoulder of Quinton Strange. Johnny McNichol, that is debatably a knock-on rather than a deliberate knockdown. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for the Waratahs. Bonus points still in play for the loser of this contest if they are within 7. Chiefs will do the Canes, yep. Says Peaceful Cleaver. They do come in as favourites for that game, the Chiefs. We're going to be covering that one tomorrow. That is at 7 p.m. New Zealand time. Will be a good one. Barry says it's a messy scrum. Do it again. I'm planning to build cricket prediction channel on YouTube. Says Imam. So have you got videos on your channel, Imam, or are you planning to upload? It should be a cracker of a game, Bumfar. Says Kano. And also the Canes win, beat up Chiefs. Josh Morby. And also we've got the Crusaders next stride game over, got the cash, says Bhavani there. And Canes to win in my opinion, says Josh. It's going to be a good game either way. Like, I can see it being close down to wide. A little bit similar to this game, but maybe minus about 10 points per team. I think that it won't quite be as high scoring as this one is, but the Tars feed in the scrum. Lalakai Fiketi with a flat, straight run up to the halfway line, but the ball's popped out, It's on the side of the Crusaders. Reese has got open space that he can run into. Grubber attempted. He's had his ankles taken out from underneath him. That looked very close to forward for the Waratahs. And he's stolen it in the breakdown again. This time he's given away the penalty for leaving his feet. And yes, Canes will win and beat the Chiefs. Says Carmen. Hands in the ruck gets the penalty against Sevu Reese. Got close to getting 2 turnovers in a row. Just talking to Jed Holloway. Saying that it's very intense out there on the field. Both sides wanting to prove that they should be that little bit higher up on the overall standings. Of course, the Crusaders, they can actually get a bit higher on the overall standings. They can make it into the top 8 if they get themselves a win there. Only narrowly, though. They would move up to 11 points if they get a winning bonus point. If they don't, they actually stay in 9th, which would keep them out of it. I should also mention that Moana Pacifica have gone up. So actually the Crusaders would be in 10th, still behind the Highlanders. If they were to win this game, the Waratahs, if they were to get themselves the victory, they theoretically can boost themselves up to 9th place. They would go ahead of the Highlanders, who still have a game in hand. That ball's available for the Waratahs. It's going to be their scrum. Mato Cero has made his way onto the field. That is for Langy Gleeson. One of the last changes I think we will see. I'm planning right now, I have Cricket Prediction Channel in Telegram, says a mum. And there's also, is it the same name as your channel in the chat, mum? Or is it a different name? We're going to do a Google while we've got a stoppage. And see if anything pops up. It does not, no. Not at the moment anyway. We'll click that, and we'll click that. There we go. Right, Jack Gordon. Back across, out to Max Jorgensen. Look for the pass to Lalakai Foketi, who was in the support, but he didn't look like he actually wanted the ball. Hurricanes Highlanders, says Bhavani. And Canes will win with Roy Garb, but not now, it's done. Says Peaceful Cleaver. Yeah, not having him for the rest of the season is going to be pretty brutal. Tie from Will Harrison. This one's got a lot of height on it. Raives Rehana knocks it back though for the Crusaders. Good hands from Jamie Hanna and even better from Che Fiaki. Who do you feel has been playing the best this game? Who's had the most missed opportunities? I would say that... Oh, that's actually a really good question. Debatably, I would say Crusaders have been just that little bit stronger. But... like, at the same time, I think that the Waratahs, still, if they won, I wouldn't be like they don't deserve it, if that makes sense. Like, both of these sides have put in some very good moments. They've just won themselves the turnover in the breakdown with Joey Walton, one of the other replacements that has recently made his way onto the field. Draw would be awesome. Says Imam, although if they do go to a draw, they go to golden point time, which will be an extra 10 minutes or so of play. And of course, if that happens, we are going to be here still covering it on the channel as well. We've already seen 2 times that it's gone to golden point throughout this season. We have got their Make Sense Thanks, says Mikkel. How can I contact you? I mean, we've got the Kiwi Lads Instagram, which we sometimes go on. One moment, we'll go like this. And this is for everyone as well. Everyone be sure to follow the Kiwi Lads Instagram. We're going to be posting at some stage on there. So that is the Instagram handle. And in the chat, I still don't know what that first photo is going to be. It's going to be a really, really good one. Now, nice pass. This is close for the Tars. Heaven goes over. And it looks... the first instinct was try. Looking at it now, it looks like he could have been held up, but it looked like it was going to be extremely hard to stop him from going over up the Tars. It's called as the try, and it is. The grounding is good. Brother Canes are stacked with talent. TJ is a pretty good replacement. Says Bads a Blaze. And now the Tars take the lead again. This game just is not giving up, is it? Both sides are going to have 40 points by the end of this contest. We've still got another 7 or 8 minutes remaining. And Julian Heaven does go over. Great physical run. And all game on. Trying to hold him up there. I think it was Dom Gardner. Wasn't able to though. And the Waratahs now after 71.5 minutes. 35 points to 33 around the neck out. Yeah, it did look a little bit high. That kick has also gone over. So that makes it now 37 points to 33. I still don't know who's going to win this game. In fact, we'll have a look at the odds again. So the Crusaders are $2.20 underdogs. Waratahs are $1.77 favourites. Crusaders are now favourites. How'd that happen? They are currently they were underdogs. Maybe there's a mistake coming from the TARS. This game just doesn't want to give up on any team. See, it's Pads ablaze. Yeah, that is stripped there for the Crusaders. It's available for them off the back. They're down by 4. It was close to a knock-on, although I think the referee has said he had control of it the whole time. No release there from Tom Ross. And that is the penalty now for the Crusaders. They're actually going back for the original one. 23, that is Joey Walton, who's been penalised for this one. Pretty good game, says guys. Yeah, it's been very good and a close game as well. That is probably the thing that's been better about it. The fact that we've gone from one-sided affairs last week, 4 games that were all split by more than 20, to this week it seems like everyone's going to be getting bonus points for being within 7. Second half feels like an hour's gone by. It has been a long one. Yeah, it's been a marathon of a second half. 8 minutes left here. Brodie McAllister now to throw this one in. Nicely taken. And looking to go forward just that little bit further. Legal player for the Tars has gone through the middle. But the ball is available there for the Crusaders to use. Weird. Says Blues Nate. McLeod plays half. Goes across to Dom Gardner. With how close this game is, that's a knock-on. I was about to say little mistakes can be crucial. And also, those missed penalties or missed kicking attempts from earlier in the game can come back to hurt sides as well. A mistake from Reves Reihana. Of course, he'll be disappointed with that. He was the young player who missed the kick at the post that would have won the Crusaders the game up against Munster in that warm-up game during pre-season. Just went to pick it up, but he didn't have his eyes on the ball there. Hurt them quite badly, but this game is not done and dusted as of yet. 75 minutes now gone in this one. Tars with a 4-point lead. So it actually means the Crusaders do need a try rather than just taking on the 3 points. This game is one of those one-of-a-kind beauties. Says a Michael there. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get another game like this throughout the season. To be honest, it's just been so much like seesaw all the way through. About 11 or 12 lead changes throughout the match. Will Harrison now looking to kick this one downfield. Does go into touch. And they will not take it quickly there for the Crusaders. They've got themselves the line out. They are considered as the $3.20 underdogs as we currently sit in this contest, but that can, of course, heavily change if they get themselves the opportunity down the field. Fans of these Chiefs this season know you're kind. They got the penalty, watch out. Says Peaceful Clover. Oh, we've got a bit of a stoppage called here. Go on, Tars, hang on, please. Says Pads ablaze. Now ready to throw this one. It's over for the Crusaders because it's the same situation as their first game against the Waratahs. Although, does that also mean that they're going to be able to learn from the mistake of their first game and will be able to make the difference? That's what happened in the Stormers versus La Rochelle game. Stormers won by 1 point with the last-minute try. The first time they played La Rochelle. Second time that they played La Rochelle, that is... Oh, it's a bit rough from Nick Berry. Joey Walton was going through with a clean-out. The ball ended up hitting him. They did not call it as an offside. I think Nick Berry tried to say that they purposely passed it into him, but Joey Walton was being an octopus, putting his hands in the air like he just didn't care. That is going to be close to the turnover, and Sinclair gets it in the end. Going to be kicked downfield. Still there for the Crusaders. A non-successful converted try would win them this game. Another offload coming. Reves Rehana gets the pass up to Sevu Reese. If he can score now, he would be all-time leading try scorer for the Crusaders. Dallas McLeod breaking through, never looked like putting a pass in. Round the side, Christian Leo Willie gets it up to Macca Springer. It's going to be a foot race. Reese is on the outside for the corner, tries to pass it back in. It's going to be grounded by the Waratahs. It's taken back by the Tars, and it's going to be the scrum now for the Crusaders 5 metres out. Let's not relive the second La Rochelle game, Hamish. Sorry about that, Grant. Definitely taken back by Blue. As the call from the TMO, so they've said that Reese, when he tried to pass it back in the field of play, it was backwards. So that means that it's taken back by Blue. And it's now going to be a scrum 5 metres out from the try line. Okay, the commentators are not happy with that decision. They felt like maybe it was a forward pass from Sevu Reese. So close, the nail-biting game says Novmum. Yeah, it's going down to the wire. 100 seconds remaining now between these two sides. This is for some crucial points on the overall Super Rugby Pacific standings. Now, Christian Leo Willie goes off the back. He's over. And the Crusaders score it in the 78th. Okay, they're going to check this actually. Lockie Swinton thinks he's been held in. If he has, whoever did that for the Crusaders is an absolute idiot. But we're about to find out if it's going to be the try for Christian Leo Willie. I'm not ready for another heart-beating racing finish. Right. Was he held in? Oh, nah. Not enough. Looks fine. Christian Leo Willie will score it. I think Lockie Swinton was trying to say Cullen Grace got him and held him, which was pretty much it's about that. And it didn't stop Swinton from getting across. It was worth a shot, to be fair. At this stage of the match, maybe they were going to check it. But the try stands. The Crusaders are ahead by 1 point. This kick here will determine if the Waratahs need to score a try or if they need a 3-pointer. Either way, hang on. They're saying the Waratahs may not get a restart here. A great commentary, mate. Equally bad. Says Mr. Allin. Reves Rehana. There's 6 seconds remaining. 2 seconds. He's kicked it before, says Nick Berry. So they will have the restart, is the call from Nick Berry. I'm sure exchange rate has changed by now, says Yikes. Right, the Waratahs are kicking off from right to left. And this game is not over, but the Crusaders have got the lead. It's going to be kicked off, knocked on, and then knocked on. Or no, they've said it's knocked back by Lockie Swinton. Will Harrison sitting 40 metres out. Tries to pass on the outside to Lalakai Fuketi. They are still in with a shot here, the Waratahs. The advantage is long over from that knock on. Walton, that's a deliberate knockdown from Johnny McNichol. And now they have to check this one to see whether or not there was enough of an overlap to call it as a yellow card. Either way, it's going to be a penalty. Very clear overlap. This one's 40 metres out. Surely we can't see a penalty try from here, can we? They're going to check it. It's probably going to be a yellow card to Johnny McNichol. And then the Waratahs have to decide whether or not they want to go for the 3 points or whether they want to go for the full 7. Yeah. To be fair to Johnny McNichol, he's tried to put his arm away, but it's still a deliberate knock on. Yeah, he tried to pull it away. And you can tell as well, as soon as he went down, he was like, nah, that's my bad. Here at a 0 in a week. The worst thing is, it was a catchable one for him. A penalty try would be hilarious. Yeah, I don't think it's quite to the stage of a penalty try, but it's whether or not it's going to be a yellow card for Johnny McNichol, and they will be 40 metres out with a chance of either going for the 3 to take it to golden point time, or they can kick for the corner and go for gold. He's killed a line break opportunity, says Nick Berry. Crowd throws bottles at him, says yikes. You got to feel for him as well, because like they said, he went like this as if he was ready to catch, but he only had one hand, so he kind of tried to pull it away and then it hit his hand. Oh, ooh, they're going for the 3 points here. If he gets this one over, it's not Tane Edmed though, because that man can't kick normally in the pressure ones. I think it's Will Harrison. If he gets this one over, we go to golden point time. If he misses this kick, the Waratahs, they will lose this contest. This seems like a really bold choice. And I get it. 40 metres out, though, she's not the easiest kick that you'll have. Definitely not because Will Harrison, I think this is his first kick of the day. But we're about to see it. He hits it hard. And he's got it over. We're going to golden point time, ladies and gentlemen. 40 points to 40. And we have to now go again for another 10 or so minutes in this game. Why not go for the line out? I mean, we might see it pay off here. If they do well in their golden point time and they win this game from here, we'll say it was the right decision. But there was just a part of me that felt like that was a lot of pressure. But Will Harrison nailed it in that case. A 10-minute period of golden point time will be played. The first team to score any points will be declared the winner. Ladies and gents, 40 to 40. Someone said it earlier on, we're going to see sides getting that high up. But the Waratahs, this is their second time going to golden point time. The last time they got it wrong. And smart move 15 versus 14. Says Joe Webby. Can the Tars get the job done here, ladies and gents? This will be the third golden point time. We thought these games, or we thought these teams may be quite close. But did we think it would be this close? They're going to have a coin flip soon, ladies and gentlemen, which will determine what way both of these sides are going and who is receiving the kickoff. And come on, Saders, you polo team. I don't care about the money. And I was glad to see you doing better. Says Gus, we are doing a lot better than last weekend. Like, we're still not quite 100%. We're about 70 at the moment, but we're getting there. And we've got plenty of rugby taking place this weekend as well, ladies and gents. And sorry, lads, says Blues Nate. And there as well. How dare they create such a spectacle? And last time was with the Fijian drawer, CSL. And yeah, the Fijian drawer were able to get themselves the victory. Fun fact here. Well, it's not very fun for Australian sides. But we have seen 2 times in the Super Rugby Pacific competition that Australian sides have gone to golden point. They have not won either of them. They lost the Hurricanes, that being the Reds. And then, oh, there's Adam Ashley Cooper watching on for this game. And forget about kickboxing drawer. Says Ivy Storm. Was it a yellow or not? It was a yellow card for Johnny McNichol. So, yeah, he went from being one of the key players for them up against the Chiefs to being one of the players that may be looked at the most, depending on how this goes, juicing men of effort for entertainment. Says Peaceful Clever and Go the Sailors, says Tavuki there. Now some deep breaths being taken for these two sides. You got to talk tactics. No matter who wins this coin flip, you make sure the opposition are the ones receiving the ball. You want to force them deep inside of their own area rather than take, oh no, they're going to piss around, are they? They've got halftime commentary coming from some of the Stan Sport. Like, they're on the field. They're about to play. Get them off. Sonny Bill Williams is going to give a bit of a lecture by the looks of it. They can't start because the Stan Sport commentators are on the park. Nick Berry's waiting for them to get off. Who decided that was a good idea? Sorry, we're just waiting for the commentators. I think I just saw Nick Berry say. I want 4-4. 2 more games tomorrow, big payout. Says Blues, now an high-scoring game with golden point. But it's going to be kicked off by the Waratahs, so I would assume that they won the coin flip in that regard. 3-2-1. And Will Harrison now kicks it off high. We're in golden point, ladies and gentlemen. And Reveza Rehana going to the short side. Both sides will be wanting those early turnovers. And go away, Crusaders. Oh, sorry, commentators. Says Novmum there. And of course, the Crusaders, they are playing with one less man on the field. Looks like Mitch Drummond going back into the pocket to Chafiaki. Looks to get plenty of distance on this one. The Tars have 4 men back ready to cover. They move up to the halfway line. Will Harrison step from him, tackled by Tom Christie, who played the commentators this game. Probably stand sport, I would say. And Waratahs will win my penalty, says Sahil. Now, being told to use it there for Jack Grant. Going off to Hugh Sinclair. They're 45 metres out. So a penalty now will get them a long way in the right direction. That was close to Panoni actually getting himself penalised for in through the side. Kicked high from Jack Grant. Nice take from Chafiaki and good strength shown not to get bundled into touch. And Christian Leo Willie being told to use it. Goes across to Joe Moody. In through the side from one of the Waratahs players. I think that was Amatasiro. That's the thing. You can't get away with anything. Well, at least you shouldn't be able to get away with anything. At this stage of the match, one little mistake can cost your side. So you've got to make sure on those breakdowns you're disciplined. Looking for the turnover there were the Crusaders, but still in possession for the Waratahs. Was Panini again. Now Will Harrison going for the 50-22 attempt. It will go out just short of the 22. It's also taken back. I mean, force it deep. Let the pressure be multiplied upon them. Says Peaceful Cleveland. I think that's what they've tried there. We're 2 minutes past the full-time siren, ladies and gentlemen. We are in extra time. The winner of this contest will be moving just a little bit higher up in the overall rankings. That is an absolutely shocking throw from Brodie McAllister, giving the Waratahs a dream chance out wide with Tristan Riley. Can the Tars make it 2 from 2 for the season up against the Crusaders? They're looking set for a possible drop goal attempt here. But while they've still got possession, you got to make the most of it. Will Harrison lined up there by Dom Gardner. Right, it looks close to a drop goal attempt here. Looks like maybe an injury there for Dom Gardner. There's 6 phases in. This is the chance for the Tars. They've got him back in the pocket if they want to use him. The Crusaders know it's coming. Jack Grant goes short again. They're trying to milk the penalty if they can instead. Trying to get the Crusaders offside. Ned Hannigan. Another tackle made there by Owen Franks. This time, back into the pocket. Harrison strikes it. And he gets it over. The Waratahs win it again. Harrison has come in clutch and got them the penalty that drew the game. And then the drop kick that got them the victory for the Waratahs and set up the droppy. Says Peaceful Cleaver. I believe in you. That's why. Evan and yes says Angus Toll. And yes says Blues Natter. Holy moly says Amori there. But the Waratahs, they have right their wrongs. Or wrote their wrongs, I guess you could say, from the Fijian draw game. They didn't have Will Harrison in that one, but they'll certainly have him in the near future. And back to county cricket says Fluffy and well says Gus in there as well. But that is quite a way to start the weekend of sevens, or not sevens, sorry, of Super Rugby. I got 115 New Zealand dollars, says Yikes. That depends though, Yikes, because if you just back the match result rather than the Waratahs in the head-to-head, like if you back them in the head-to-head, you'll be all right. But if you back them in the match result, you actually would lose your money if it's a draw. Fun fact. Well, not really fun if that cost you $115. As Super Play by the Crusaders at the end, Fiaki came kicking aimlessly, says Sanjeeva, and also due for a close one. It was very close. Got Moana and the Tars pulling through. 2 to go, says Mr. All. Yeah, 2 underdogs. Both getting themselves victory. Quite large underdogs as well in close contests. Good call, brother. Nah, my mate Roger is my TAB. Says Yikes. And Ozo Gumtree Tactics, I knew it. Says peaceful there. And smash the like and sub, ladies and gents, says bystander here. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. Full time in this contest. The Waratahs getting themselves the victory, 43 points to 40. Fantastic game. And a great finish to Friday, which we've had two extremely close contests. And who wins? It is the Tars who get themselves the victory and this one. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We've got plenty more rugby coming tomorrow with Super Rugby Challenge and Champions Cup. So be sure to check those ones out. Thank you all very much for tuning in. We'll see you all for the next one.